I built this place for my love, to protect her child. As a father, you do everything to keep your family safe, even if you have to break their trust. But now...
Fans of Hotel Transylvania just got some pretty exciting news about where the franchise might be heading. Genndy Tartakovsky, the director behind the first 3 films, recently opened up about the series' future, and his words have sparked a lot of speculation. He admitted that he'd honestly be surprised if a 5th movie didn't happen eventually. That's a big statement, especially coming from him, since he knows the franchise better than almost anyone. He shared this while speaking with Collider during an interview right before he was honored with an Award of Excellence at SEAD's Animation Fest. Naturally, the conversation turned to Hotel Transylvania and whether the adventures of Dracula and his monster crew were officially over. Tartakovsky said, "I think there's going to be more and more. It's great. If there's a demand for it, I think the 4th one did really well on Amazon. I think they want more, so we'll see what happens." It makes sense because Hotel Transylvania Transformania may not have been released in theaters like the first 3 films, but its exclusive release on Prime Video in January 2022 gave it a whole new audience. The first Hotel Transylvania movie came out back in 2012, and it introduced viewers to a world where classic monsters had a secret hideaway from humans, a hotel run by none other than Count Dracula. Adam Sandler voiced Drac in those early films, while Selena Gomez played his daughter Mavis, and Andy Samberg voiced Johnny, the goofy but well-meaning human who eventually married into the monster family. The movie was a huge success, pulling in over $350 million worldwide for Sony Pictures Animation. Because it did so well, sequels naturally followed every few years, and each one ended up earning even more than the one before it. That's rare for animated franchises, so it's no wonder the studio kept making them. But when Transformania arrived, it shook things up a bit. It was the first Hotel Transylvania film that Tartakovsky didn't direct, though he still co-wrote the screenplay alongside Amos Vernon and Nunzio Randazzo. And on top of that, Adam Sandler didn't return as Dracula. Instead, Brian Hull stepped in to voice the character. Even with those big changes, the film kept the franchise alive and gave fans more adventures with Drac, Mavis, Johnny, and their quirky monster crew. While everyone waits to hear if Hotel Transylvania 5 will actually happen, fans do have something else to look forward to. A brand new Netflix animated series called Motel Transylvania has already been announced. The logline says the show will follow Drac and Mavis as they leave behind their usual spooky haunts in Transylvania to open a new resort in the sunny California desert. The idea of vampires trying to adjust to all that sunshine feels like it could be a recipe for chaos, and the description even jokes, "Vampires and sunshine? What could go wrong?" It sounds like a fun twist that could let the franchise experiment with new stories while keeping the same characters people love. This won't be the first time the series has branched out into television. From 2017 to 2020, Disney Channel aired Hotel Transylvania the series. The show was set as a prequel to the original movie, taking place 4 years before the events of Drac opening his hotel to Johnny and the others. It ran for 2 seasons and gave fans a chance to see a younger version of Mavis, although neither Adam Sandler nor Selena Gomez voiced their characters in the show. Instead, David Burney and Bryn McAuley took over as Dracula and Mavis respectively. So far, there hasn't been any casting announced for Motel Transylvania, but given Sandler's current working relationship with Netflix, some fans are already wondering if he might return this time. Meanwhile, Tartakovsky himself has plenty on his plate outside of Hotel Transylvania. He's working on the 3rd season of Primal, his highly praised adult animated series. On top of that, he is busy with his next movie called Fixed. It's about a blue bloodhound who finds out he's going to be neutered the next day, which obviously sets up for some wild comedic storytelling. Originally, Warner Brothers and New Line were set to release it, but the studio dropped the project in August 2024. Since then, Tartakovsky has been shopping the film around, and Netflix seems to be one of the interested buyers. So even though he's moved on to other projects, he still clearly cares about Hotel Transylvania, which explains why he feels confident there's more story left for the monsters. As for whether Transformania left room for a sequel, the answer is yes and no. The movie began by celebrating the hotel's 125th anniversary, and Drax surprised everyone by announcing that he was planning to retire and hand the business over to Mavis and Johnny. That felt like a natural way to pass the torch to the next generation. The big conflict came when Drax and Johnny accidentally got transformed, Drax into a human and Johnny into a monster, and had to deal with the chaos that followed. By the end, the hotel was torn down by Van Helsing's guinea pig, but eventually rebuilt with a bunch of new changes added by Johnny and Mavis. Because of that, the fourth movie didn't really end on a major cliffhanger. It wrapped up neatly enough, but at the same time, it also set up opportunities for new stories. For instance, Drac isn't running the hotel anymore, but what if he doesn't totally agree with the changes Mavis and Johnny have made? That could easily be the focus of a fifth film, Drac trying to adapt to retirement while still finding himself pulled back into hotel drama. The dynamic between the old guard and the new generation could be really entertaining, especially since it's something audiences relate to in real life too. Now, when it comes to predicting when Hotel Transylvania 5 could actually arrive, the timeline of past films gives us clues. Historically, every new movie was released about 3 to 4 years after its predecessor was announced. Since there hasn't been any official confirmation yet, it seems unlikely that the fifth movie is just around the corner. But if Sony decides sometime later this year to move forward with another sequel following the same pattern, fans could probably expect to see it by 2026 at the earliest. Of course, there's always the chance the studio might take a bit longer. Animated films require a lot of work and coordination, especially when it comes to voice casting, writing, and animation. But given the franchise's consistent popularity and strong performance, both at the box office for the first 3 films and through streaming for the fourth, it wouldn't be surprising if Sony decides it's worth the investment. What makes this franchise stand out is that it's never been just about monsters scaring people or hiding away from humans. At its core, it's always been about family. From Drac trying to protect Mavis in the first film to learning how to accept Johnny into their lives, the series has dealt with themes that parents and kids can connect to. By the time Transformania rolled around, it became more about letting go and allowing the next generation to take charge. That's something that resonates with audiences because it's such a universal experience. And that's why, even though some might have thought Transformania was the perfect ending, it doesn't feel like the final chapter. There's still room for more stories, whether it's on the big screen with a fifth movie, or through the smaller but still fun world of Motel Transylvania. Plus, since the characters are so iconic at this point, new stories could even introduce fresh monsters or humans to shake things up even more. In the bigger picture, Tartakovsky's confidence in the franchise's future feels reassuring for fans. He knows how much people love these characters, and he also knows how animation studios think when it comes to projects that consistently perform well. So while nothing is set in stone yet, the odds of Hotel Transylvania 5 happening seem fairly strong. It might take a few years before audiences see it, but in the meantime, the franchise is still alive and kicking thanks to spin-offs, series, and continued fan enthusiasm. In the end, the world of Hotel Transylvania doesn't seem ready to close its doors anytime soon. Whether it's Drax struggling with retirement, Mavis and Johnny running the hotel in their own chaotic way, or a whole new adventure under the California sun, there are a bunch of different directions the franchise could explore. And as long as audiences keep showing up to watch, chances are good that the monsters will keep coming back for more. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop, and if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.